Die, scum!
What are you doing? Why are you attacking us? We're dwarves too. We're on the same side.
I see honest dwarves here, but they are accompanied by scum. I will free you of it.
Oh,
Mas quanta
really?
gente tá com a
And
gente
what are
aqui?
you going to do on your own against 8?
Esse cara também.
You, come here.
What? Oh! Brother, what are you doing? Bondo, what's wrong? Come to your senses.
It's no use. They belong to me. Now die, scum.
Pô, ele tá contra eles? Ah, mano. Puta, já pegou bem o bonde, cara. Você descobre algumas coisas antigas. Tem um acampamento de hordas em um desfiladeiro. Um pequeno grupo de Bognin está se movendo entre as tendas. Pilhas de lixo e jaulas. Você acredita ter observado o movimento em uma das jaulas. Vamos entrar, caralho. Vamos atacar essa porra.
They're coming out the holes. You're there, my bag. Over there, quick! You'll have to smoke them out. Very impressive, I must say. Let me out, my friend. Oh, thank you. Have you seen Helga? Helga? Helga! Where are you?
E aí pessoal, sejam bem-vindos a mais um The Dwarves aqui no canal. Primeiramente me desculpe aí o atraso, tive alguns problemas. E desculpe também o áudio que às vezes fica zoado o microfone. Mas vamos lá, a gente vai ter que vir aqui. A gente vai ter que pegar o sino e alguns negócios para fazer fogo. Pra gente poder passar por aqui, né? Porque como vocês estão vendo, ó, não tem pontilhado. Então vamos embora.
As on the previous evening, Bavragor sits apart from the others. But tonight, he waves you over.
Smeralda, my sister. You want to know what happened, right?
You nod and sit down.
She followed Boindle into battle. We tried to talk her out of it, but she was as unyielding as a mountain. Then came the day when the High Pass was attacked.
Bavragor drinks from his liquor.
He killed her. Blinded by the frenzy of battle, he thought she was one of the enemy. I could never forgive him. He killed my sister. Could you?
You inevitably remember the loss of Lot Yonan, Frala, and her children. You remain sitting in silence, each of you deep in thought. Boendal approaches, having either heard you or guessing what you are talking about.
His fierce life forge is a curse. He thought the orcs had robbed him of his love, and the ire came over him. Sometimes he calls her name in his dreams. Oh, he'd never admit it, but he suffers just like Bavragor. He too loved her.
The stonemason doesn't react, so you and Boendal go back to the others by the fire.
O Boendal, ele é o cara mais sensato do time aí. Eu vou fazer o seguinte, vamos por baixo, vamos ver o que tem nessas casas e a gente sobe até lá.
A two-story tavern sits on the corner of a crossroads. The snow around the building has been cleared away, and a warm light is coming from inside. The sign above the door reads, Minstrel Castle.
Minstrel Castle? That sounds promising.
Vamos examinar os arredores.
The old building has nothing in common with a castle. It seems rather nondescript. A simple tavern for simple people.
Ah, vamos entrar, vai.
Finally! Time for ale! My throat is completely parched.
As much
no,
as
so
I
no,
hate
no.
agreeing with you, I too can hardly wait.
You enter the tavern with Bavragor and Boindale in front. On first impression, the interior is as inconspicuous as the outside. But when you take a closer look, you spot a couple of paintings of minstrels in front of a castle, a small stage that, judging by the dust, is only very rarely used, and a lute hanging on the wall behind the bar. There are not very many guests on the ground floor, perhaps a dozen, and most of them belong to a group of mercenaries who have retreated into the far corner. You sit at a table, and after a while you are brought the ale that Boindil has ordered.
Vamos falar com a dona.
You go to the bar where the landlady is working and sit on a stool. The landlady, a stout, middle-aged woman with long hair tied in a ponytail, looks up briefly but says nothing.
Tá, vamos elogiar.
Say, why is the tavern called Minstrel Castle? It doesn't look much like a castle.
Oh, you don't know the legend, dwarf.
One of the guests next to you at the bar takes up your question.
There was a castle here once. No one knows its name anymore, so everyone just calls it Minstrel Castle. Once upon a time, a king lived in that castle. He had many subjects and an enchanting queen. But one day a young minstrel came along and sang of wonderful far-off lands, and the subjects began to complain about their own lives. So the king sent for the singer to hear for himself. He came and sang a wonderful love song, and the king began to be scared. He thought that the minstrel wanted to steal away his queen. Without flinching, he drew his sword and struck the boy down. His father heard of this. He was himself a singer, and so he went to the king and played a terrible song, a curse. The king was to vanish in silence, and no one was to remember his name.
And that's what happened. No one remembers the name of the king or his castle. Make of it what you will. The story's certainly well known enough in the area to give Arin its name.
É por isso que ninguém aparece, amaldiçoado essa porra.
You nod at the landlady as you
Presidente
slip
volta.
off the bar stool, and she nods back. Bavragor and Boindil, who are absorbed in a
Vambora.
drinking competition, have to be practically dragged out of the tavern. But in the end, you are able to continue your journey.
Vamos pro cais.
You arrive at an empty jetty on Lake Anteria. You can see several fishing boats on the lake, and there's a small village on the other shore.
Ah, Polbrook. What an idyllic little place. And then there's the miller's daughter.
Chama o
Hey
pescador.
there. Would you be able to ferry us over to the other side?
At first, you think the fisherman hasn't heard you, but then he turns around and heads towards the shore. When the boat has almost reached you, the fisherman calls back.
Dwarves, are you lost? Oh well, whatever. I am Samuel. If you wish to cross, it'll cost you. Food for 10 days or 20 gold, whichever you prefer.
Não, não vou viajar não. Vou pro outro lado não.
Not at the moment, thank you.
Oh well, no skin off my nose. If you change your mind,
Eu vou
you
aqui.
know where to find me.
Eu tô com medo de pegar essa ordem, então vamos reto. Beleza, vamos lá.
The size of the fields and the farmsteads grow as you get closer to Valenciensis, the old border city in the north. The old city wall is much too small for the size of today's settlement. Everywhere little cottages, and even the odd magnificent estate, extend beyond the wall.
The house that Henson was talking about must be somewhere on the south wall. We need the bell if we're going to open the path through the mountains.
Qual é o teu grande
You try to
arquivo, vai?
gain access to the city, but the guards on the wall are unyielding. The orc armies in the south and the movement of the parish land has prompted the city council to lock Valenciensis up. You try not to show your disappointment, but Boindil looks at you curiously.
Is a house full of dusty books really that important, scholar? That's no place for a dwarf.
There are also books by dwarves and about dwarves in that archive. They've practically got everything that has ever been written. They've even got notes on the races of Girdlegard, singularities and oddities, by M.A. Het.
A book about dwarves? That really can't be any good at all.
Esse cara não gosta mesmo. Vamos
You
pra
follow the
casa.
street to an estate on the south wall, which is surrounded by a fence. The paved path to the door is lined with hydrangea. You knock on the door gently, and after a while it is opened by a chubby man in expensive clothes. The man gives you a fleeting glance.
We don't want to buy anything.
He intends to close the door again without waiting for your answer.
Espere pouco, ouvi dizer que você tem sino raro.
Wait, I've been told you have a rare bell? Fire Eater.
The man pauses.
Fire eater? How?
Before he can finish what he's saying, a red-haired woman pushes past him. She is also wearing expensive clothes and is heavily made up. After she gives him a stern look, the man disappears into the house. She scrutinizes you with greenish blue eyes.
How do you know about that, Shorty?
Vai. Fala Hansen, vai.
A man called Henson.
Henson? The vagabond that broke into our house? Now he's sending groundlings to assassinate us and steal our belongings. What did he tell you? That we have gold, jewels?
No. Henson is our adversary. We want to snatch the bell away from under his nose.
The woman's eyes pierce through you. You manage with great effort to resist her gaze.
I'd like to get that ugly thing out of the house. All right then. I'll sell you the bell for 500 gold pieces.
Puta que pariu.
500 gold coins. All right then.
The woman takes the pouch of gold from you with a broad grin and disappears through the door, which slams shut with a loud bang.
Hello?
Have you been duped? It dawns on you that you haven't yet seen the bell. The door opens again. The man of the house pushes out a wheelbarrow containing a large object inside a sack.
May Fire Eater bring you great pleasure.
The man dumps the bell on the floor with a muffled bong. He seems anything but happy that his wife has sold the bell.
Peguei o seu. Mas perdi dinheiro pra caralho, mas vambora. A gente vai voltar lá pra fazer um negócio.
The old ruins of Wackenstein appear before you.
Agora a gente tem que falar com o cara, né? Vamos fazer o esquema.
Henson, do you have a minute?
Have you found Elga?
Vamos falar, vai, vamos jogar
Henson,
a verdade.
I heard you tried to steal the bell.
What, steal? No, I wanted to borrow it. But I had less luck with that red-haired witch than you.
To begin the festival, we need the ox skull, the fire eater bell, and the vervain, right?
Exactly. Then we need to set the skull on fire, ring the bell, and burn the herbs. And then it happens.
You're quite sure you're wasting your time. A huge festival in the middle of nowhere? But you pin your hopes on there being a spark of truth in every story, and that somehow a path will open up through the mountains when you carry out the old ritual.
Tá.
See you later, Henson.
Let me
Mas eu
know
não
if you
achei-
say Elga.
Eu não achei o crânio, cara. Eu achei que fosse isso aqui, ó. Mas não dá pra clicar. Então aqui eu já tenho. Falta o crânio pra eu poder queimar aqui, ó. Então vamos colocar o sino aqui.
Fits like a glove.
Não sei de onde ele tirou esse sino, né? Mas vambora. Então as ervas eu já tenho. Já coloquei o sino. Falta o crânio, mano. Calma aí, eu vou dar uma explorada e já volto. Bom, galera, eu voltei aqui. Eu descobri que eu tinha que matar a horda para poder pegar o Orc Skull que ele queria. Então, eu acabei de matar a horda. E agora vamos seguir viagem até lá. Vou voltar a pé mesmo, tô com provisão pra caralho. E a horda foi bem facinho, diga-se de passagem.
The old ruins of Wackenstein appear before you.
Vamos fazer o ritual agora. Primeiro a gente queima aqui o negócio.
Alright.
Já queima lá. Olha, eu não sei vocês, mas eu acho que esse negócio vai ter alguma referência com o Blind Guardian. Vamos lá. Um toque, agora a gente queima a erva. No bom sentido. Aí.
Loud and powerful music follows the fog and the figures, crushing over your head in roaring waves.
Ó, ó o metal.
The force of the music clouds your senses. and it seems as if the statue of the blind guardian rises from his throne. You want to draw your companion's attention to it, but then you suddenly realize that you have a tankard of ale in your hand. You instinctively try it, and are happy to note that you haven't drunk such good ale since Ogre's death. The night becomes a colourful whirl of ale, music, dance, and ecstasy. You can no longer remember why you're here or who you're celebrating with. For a few hours you forget what was and what is to come. You are completely in the here and now. You wake up the next morning. You're lying on your back and staring into a sky that is much too bright. You turn onto your side with difficulty and see your companions all around you, but no one else. The remains of a wild party, campfires, tents, and ale tankards are still there, but the magic has gone. You stand up, muttering curses, and try to suppress the taste in your mouth and the pain in your head. To your great surprise, you see that the stony figure of the blind guardian has revealed a tunnel that leads into the rock of the mountain.
Cara, só por causa desse metal que subiu, aí já é uma clara evidência que é um easter egg aí de Blind Guardian, né, cara? É, porra, agora eu gostei mais do jogo aí.
If we go on now, we probably can't come back. The mechanism looks like it will close the pass behind us. We should be sure that we have done all we need to.
Nada pode nos deter agora. Ah, vambora, bicho. Beleza, vamos lá.
While you rest under a ledge at noon, Rodario and Fergus decide to go ice fishing, and the dwarves immediately pronounce their opposition.
Ice and water are both treacherous. They entice you to them. Before you know it, you disappear into them forever.
Like in a marriage, you mean? At first the woman entices you, but if you stay in her arms like a good boy, the good life is over all too quickly.
The good life, in which you go behind the backs of other men, get beaten up, and one day die painfully of a sexually transmitted disease.
All slander, my dear.
Rodario bares his teeth for a moment, and then follows Fergus to the shore.
He reminds me of a billy goat we used to have. Mounted everything that got in its way. One day he mounted a goat that was standing too close to a cliff. The two of them fell down the cliff in the best of spirits.
Não sei. Vamos continuar. Olha o silêncio que ficou. Não tem música. Vamos pra cá.
Your path leads you over a snowy, hilly plain, and as you scale a particularly steep hill, you falter. A crevasse opens out in front of you. You look around, but there isn't any point nearby where you could cross over the gap.
A gente desce a fenda? Vamos descer. Vamos descer.
You attach a rope to a huge rock and abseil down, one after the other. The floor of the crevasse is darker and colder than you'd expected. The sun hardly ever reaches down this deep. You light torches and look around. At some distance you notice the entrance to a cave, which seems to wind upwards on the other side. But you can't be sure that this path leads out.
Vamos explorar.
You are afraid that you might get lost in the ice cave and freeze to death in misery. But ultimately, your curiosity is rewarded. You find after an hour's search a winding passage that leads you to a large chamber. You walk ahead with your torch outstretched and see a shadow in the ice. You step backwards in shock as you realize that it's the body of a frozen human. Something glittering in the floor grabs Goimgar's attention. An ornamented gold shield. Part of it is frozen into the ice, but it should be easy to free.
Pure gold! This thing must be worth quite a bit, though it would be completely useless in a fight.
Leva o escudo com você, pode ser bom.
You allow Goimgar to free the shield from its icy prison. After you've had a look around the rest of the chamber and taken a short break, you look for a way back up to the surface. You are able to continue on your way without any further delay.
Puta, cara, tem escudo de ouro, mano.
You finally arrive at the entrance to a valley that curves its way towards Ironhald, the firstling stronghold.
By Vracus, we've done it!
Puta que pariu.
Up there!
Ah, esse bosta aí. Nossa!
I can't maintain the spell for long.
Put him on Goimgar's shield. To the gate. Quick!
Oh, meu melhor personagem. Puta que pariu! Levou o melhor personagem, mano.
As you approach the first gate, you see guards on the battlements. You call as you run.
By Vracus, we are dwarves of the kingdoms of the secondlings and the fourthlings. Open the gate!
Their leader gives orders that you cannot hear, but moments later, the gate opens up for you.
Report back! Man the walls and the defences!
The guards follow the orders immediately.
Who are you that lead the Alpha to our door?
How dare you speak to us like that? Dwarf who seems to have no name?
Boindale steps forward before you can stop him.
I am Boindale Doubleblade, a child of the smith of Burrowin folk. And that is my brother Boindale, who needs a healer immediately.
The commander pulls down his scarf, and his face leaves you speechless.
Only a dwarf could make such a fuss. Ballander Steelfinger. I protect the main gate of the firstlings, therefore it is my duty to regard all guests precisely before I invite them in.
But you are a woman!
You have a keen eye, Boindale Doubleblade.
The tender features and soft fluff leave no room for doubt. A female dwarf is the commander of the guard.
Puta que
She
pariu.
gives orders for the injured Boindale to be taken care of. 4 dwarves pick him up on his shield, and Boindale follows them.
Stay with your brother. I will bring the rest of you to Queen Zamtis, where you can explain what you're doing here.
Que isso? Que isso, cara? Ah, vou falar com a rainha.
Come closer, and be welcome to the kingdom of the firstlings.
I am Tungdil Goldhand of the Fourthling Kingdom.
You introduce your companions one by one, not forgetting to mention the twins and the Mager too. You then explain the reason for your visit. You report on the advance of the Perish land, the death of the Magi, and the dispute about the next High King. The dark brown eyes of the Queen fix on you for a moment before she speaks.
What you report sounds very serious, Tungdil. You can be sure of the support of the firstlings. How may we assist you?
Galera, eu vou fazer o seguinte, eu vou parar o vídeo por aqui. A conversa com a rainha, eu que sei lá o que tiver que acontecer, vai continuar no próximo episódio. Espero que vocês tenham gostado do vídeo. Não se esqueça de deixar o seu like, o seu compartilha aí para ajudar na divulgação. E é isso aí. Fique com Deus e até mais.